Hi everyone, it is your favorite physical therapist assistant, and today we are going to be talking about how I was originally rejected from PTA school. So I never really shared this story with any of my YouTube followers. My close friends and family know about my original rejection. So I just want to go through and make sure you guys know the things that you can do to prevent from getting rejected to PTA school. So recently I got a comment, I think it was from a high schooler, which I'm so proud of this kid for thinking about what they want to do with their life before their life has happened. And he recently asked me if there was anything that he can do to get into PTA school or to prepare himself for PTA school. And I'm like, absolutely. There's so many things that if I can turn back, I will completely do differently. So just to kind of give you guys a little bit of a background, I've always been in love with the PT field, the physical therapy world in general. I had my own set of injuries that allowed me to fall in love with the body's ability to heal itself and all that great stuff. And after my last injury, I was like, you know what, God, I'm not really sure what you're doing here, but what do you want me to do? And I felt like in my spirit, he was telling me to become a PTA or either DPT. So my original plan was to go and become a DPT. However, I was so eager to just get from under my mom's wings. Like I wanted to, I felt like my life was starting. I was getting older. It took me about 4 years to get my AA. I was going through school and it just took me a long time to get my AA due to financial reasons. And so I just was like, I want to do PTA so I can get my foot in the door. So once I started my journey to become a PTA, I had already made a big mistake in getting C's in my prerequisites. And so that is going to be my first piece of advice to you. If you're going into the PTA or the DPT, if you're going that route, you want to make sure you have a strong application. So I had came from the mindset that C's get degrees. And although that may be true, when you're filling out for these competitive schools, they don't really look at it like that. So when I was filling out my application, the average GPA for someone that was going into PTA school was like a 3.8. And I'm in the 2.9. So that was very once I started doing the application, I was like, oof, that doesn't really look good. It looked like I didn't put a lot of effort into, my undergraduate and my prerequisites. And so my GPA was not well. And I feel like that is why and how I got my rejection. So boom, already off the bat, I'm coming in with a disadvantage because I have a low GPA. When I decided that I wanted to become a PTA, the thing that I started to do was have observation hours. So I remember very vividly, you guys, I used to ride my skates to the nearest, you guys. I used to ride it to the nearest clinic, which was maybe about a mile away from my house. And I've shadowed a young man named Al, and he would let me come in all the time. And so I don't even know if I was smelly coming into his office, but I made sure I had a lot of observation hours. So boom, do my prerequisites. I make sure I have observation hours. I fill out my application, and I later got a call that I was rejected. Yes, I was rejected. And so that was very devastating news to me because in my head, I'm like, well, God, if this is what you call me to be, why would you close this door? And so I remember just arriving to work, and one thing about me, you guys, I'm a very hustle mindset person. So they rejected me from the PTA school, and I was already looking into other things like surgical tech or people that do the cast. I was like, there's no way I'm failing in life. I need to do something with my life. And so I was already I was obsessing over just doing anything, sonograms, whatever the case is. I just needed to do something. I needed to do something, and it needed to pertain to the medical field. So I'm looking at going to school in Tampa to do just something I just genuinely did not want to do. And I remember after a couple weeks of obsessing over that due to the rejection, I just arrived to work because at the time I was working as a CNA, and I just began to cry in my car, you guys. I was crying because I was just like, what is my life? I just got this rejection. This is what God told me to do, and then he rejected me. I was just crashing out. And I feel like even deeper than the rejection from the school, I was already dealing with my own personal rejection from life. And so it took me a long time to get my AA due to financial reasons. So it just felt like I was working way harder than what the normal average person would have to do. The rejection for me was just more than this school telling me no. It was just like a slap in my face. And I hate to make this such a deep thing, but you know, like I was dealing with issues with my father, rejection. So it was just so much more deeper. And that is why I was just like crying. So I got to work, you guys, breaking down in my car, crashing out. And I'm just like, God, like, I'm gonna be honest with you. And I'm speaking to him like he's my friend. I'm like, I'm gonna be honest with you. Yes, you know, like I didn't build up my application. Now I'm trying to do something I don't want to do. Like, why is this happening to me? Like, why is this happening to me? And whatever, the day goes on, I go throughout my day, and I come out of work for like my break, and I receive a call from the school that I had, you know, filled out the application for. And I was like, okay, this is a little odd. And so, you know, I answer the phone, and they're like, hey, you know, Mrs. Francois, I know we had originally rejected you, but somebody that was supposed to come to the school is no longer coming, and you were next in line. And I was like, thank you, Jesus. Like, thank you so much. Like, y'all, I was so excited. Like, you guys have no idea, because that's all I needed was a foot in the door. Like, that's all I needed. Like, I know my prerequisites was bad, you know, and then just all this stuff, but I was like, Lord, you're giving me this opportunity to do this, and I'm gonna do this with all my heart, all my mind, all my soul. Like, I will not let you down. And so I go throughout the program, you guys. The program is a rigorous program. It was accelerated, it was difficult. But all in all, like, I believe that God opened that door for me and nobody else did. And so I'm here to encourage anybody that, first of all, if you're going into PTA or DPT, I need you guys to know that everything matters. And so I walked into the situation thinking that nothing mattered, C's get degrees. It's not the case, you guys. Like, you guys are filling out applications for competitive schools. And so, of course, they're gonna pick the person that already shows that they can work hard and care about their GPA and care about getting observation hours. And so, first and foremost, like, make sure you're doing the best that you can to build your application so that when you're applying to these schools, they don't have to count you out. Secondly, I want to say to anybody that has a low GPA, that has already struggled in school and don't know if PTA is for them or DPT is for them, it could absolutely be for you, because it was for me. Like I said, 2.8 or 9 GPA. Not a lot of observation hours, and God still was able to make a way for me. And so I don't want you guys to go into it thinking that it can't happen, because it can. And I'm a living testimony that it can happen for you. And so, you know, it's gonna take some hard work. It's gonna take some emailing. It's gonna take you to go outside the box and do all that you need to do, but it can happen for you. And I'm here to just encourage you that, because it happened for me. So my pastor always says, persistent outweighs resistance. I'm gonna tell you guys something that I recently found out yesterday listening to a video on DPTs and PTAs. The application rate has significantly dropped for people filling out for DPT school. What does that mean for you watching this video? Now is the best time that if you have low GPAs, low observation hours, it's the best time now to fill out the application. The competition that was once back in the day is no longer, because for DPT, I don't know if you guys know, but the debt to income ratio is one of the biggest complaints of the physical therapy world. Also too, I think a lot of people are going into tech, a lot of people are going into content creation. I believe that we are going to be such a scarcity that they're not going to have a choice but to increase pay for us, because it's so easy to get a PTA job and a DPT job. And I want to make this super clear, you guys. When I went into PTA school, there was people like, don't do it, you're not going to be able to find a job, and all this weird stuff trying to discourage me from going into the PTA field. Now, never had an issue finding a job. Never had an issue negotiating my pay due to the lack of PTAs and DPTs in the field. So it was like the complete opposite of what people were talking about. And so I'm here to tell you guys, like, if people are discouraging you from doing this stuff, okay, the debt to income ratio is a very, very valid it's a very valid explanation of why not to go for DPT. Very valid. But I feel like in my heart, I'm just like, if this is something that I love and I want to go and climb up the ladder, the hierarchy ladder of physical therapy world, like DPT is a beautiful option for me. There's creative ways to pay down your debt. You can travel. You can just do so many things. If you feel like this is what God has called you to do, I'm big on that. Like, I don't even care about the numbers. I feel like God will work it out for you. So again, this is the best time to become a PTA and DPT. I'm gonna be honest with you guys. For an AA degree, I make more than the average American. I would highly recommend it to anyone that is a people's person, that love working with people. If you like being creative in exercises, if you love body movement, like, beautiful job. You know, it's not like athletic training where you have to market yourself. You'll always have work as a PTA. And so that pretty much sums up my video, guys. I want all of you guys that are watching this video to be encouraged. I shared this because I want to be a living testimony of what you can do. Rejection is not the end all, be all. As you can see, I got rejected, got a call back, and I'm now a physical therapist assistant. And I actually have my first interview to become a DPT in February. So may my living, walking testimony encourage you. Don't feel like you're counted out. Don't feel like whatever. Like I said, now is the best time to fill in an application, to do what you dream to do, because if you're watching this video, that means you're looking at research on whether or not you should do this or not. And so thank you guys again so much for tuning in. You guys, the channel has been growing, and I'm so excited about that. I never made this channel hoping to become the most famous PTA, the most famous DPT. I made this channel because when I was going through school, I couldn't find any information about PTA. And I told myself, I'm not going to continue to let that happen. So I'm making content about it. Again, thank you guys for tuning in. I will see you guys next time.